5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And alright guys, welcome to the Edutainment Corner. This is a podcast about all the things that are going around in the world from your average teenager's perspective. Here with me again is Wayne and Nicolas. How are you, man?
Doing good, man. How about yourself?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm really excited. I have been up to quite a few things this week. How about you?
Oh yeah, man. These last 2 weeks have been I'm gonna be real with you. It's been kind of boring, kind of tiresome.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, But the one thing that's been cheering me up was that snowstorm.
Oh my gosh, the snow,
Man,
bro. Yes.
We got so much snow. I want to say like 6 to 7 inches. I think.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
right.
know,
I think so.
but
It was a ton.
it was a ton of snow.
Man.
But
I don't know,
the only thing bad about it was that we had to stay inside. But
yeah.
we also got out of school, so.
Yeah. What do you mean you had to stay inside, bro? I got to go outside.
Oh, I mean, I'm meaning like out, like driving.
Oh yeah.
Like
Yeah.
out.
Yeah,
Like we were stuck in the area.
Area. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I went outside multiple times.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right.
But it was super fun.
Yeah. So that's pretty much the highlight of the week for you?
It was a highlight. There's so much other stuff, but that was the main focal point of my week.
Cool. I have to say I've actually been up to quite a few things this week. Yesterday I started doing I saw this on YouTube, so I've started doing 200 push-ups a day, and I'll let you guys know how it's going next podcast.
Holy hell. 200?
Yeah. I did 100
Hey, man.
push-ups like a couple of months ago. I did 100 push-ups every day for 30 days, and now I'm going to do 200. It's already getting harder.
I was gonna say, how's it going, man?
Yesterday I did them all at once. I separated them out today, so I did 100 in the morning, and I'm going to do 100 tonight.
Alright.
I'm worried about getting sore, and it's going to get harder, though, so we'll see.
Oh, yeah, man. Getting sore is the worst part.
Yeah, but I hope by next podcast it'll be better. And
Oh, yeah. I actually have something to say about that.
Yeah, go ahead.
It revolves around working out.
Okay.
So, my friend Ethan, who was on the episode last week, is coming up for like half the summer.
Okay.
And he can drive now, by the way. Just letting you guys know he passed. And he's going to be able to pick me up, and we are going to start going to the gym.
Oh, dude, that's awesome.
So I'm hoping, right now, I have no shame in saying this, I am 210 pounds right now. I'm not proud of it, but I'm not ashamed to say it. Okay. And by the end of the summer, I want to be down to around 160 to 170.
Man, okay, that sounds good.
Yeah, man. I really hope it goes well. I've already started prepping myself.
Dude, we're gonna do it together. I've always been pretty underweight, so I'm excited to actually be building up muscle lately.
Oh yeah, man. Most definitely.
So yeah, that was one of the big things that I started yesterday, and this week, I guess this might be counted as a shameless self-promotion, but I have a YouTube channel, and it's called Can I Make It? And I kind of just like go in the woods and I try to make things from scratch. So recently I've been trying to get fire, and that's what I've been trying to do this week when there wasn't snow, and the snow was just a big deficit to that. I mean,
yeah, I mean you can't really start fires with big snow.
So I've been having a lot of trouble, but today we got so much smoke. Like we didn't get fire, unfortunately, but we got so close. And this week I've just been getting better and better, and it's exciting.
Like, it's been raining now. The weather here is so bipolar. It was. Oh my God. I can't believe that last week it was snowing like in the 20s and 10s, and now it's
and the
raining
day after it was 60.
And like 60 and 70s. Oh my God.
Weather.
I hate the weather here.
It's weird. It's interesting because I came from California, right? And
it was hot every day.
You got So in the summer, spring, and fall, it's anywhere from 80 plus, and during the summer it's about 100 plus every day, right? It's constantly hot, and there's almost no rain. In the winter, it's a little bit colder. It's like 50 and then and 50 and above. And when it does rain though, it rains like all week, and it's gonna rain constantly all week, and the skies are just gonna be gray, like no matter what. And then it's gonna slowly fade back into a warmer day, like over the next week. Here is so different. Oh my gosh, you can literally have one day complete snow and then the next day like complete sun.
Yeah. Yeah, what you're talking about, the rain, reminds me of like you're getting that northwestern rain like Washington and Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
Cause I heard that rains there every season, every day. It rains so much there. It's
Yeah.
just forest and rain is definition of Washington State.
Yep.
But yeah, aren't you
Oh,
from Northern California?
yeah. I'm from Sacramento, so that's kind of like the
Yeah,
top half.
yeah. So you get that type of weather all the time.
Yep.
I'm guessing.
On the days that it's not hot, it's cold and cloudy and rainy.
That suck, man.
But
But
yeah,
it sucks even worse here.
I actually like it here. It's not.
Really?
Yeah, it's unpredictable, and that kind of sucks because you can't like
Yeah.
prepare things like
That's the worst part.
I'm trying to get clay in my backyard, and I've set like a digging hole, and then I was expecting it to be sunny because that's what the weather said for the next week, and then all of a sudden it's pouring rain tonight.
Yeah, it's right now. Currently, as we're recording this, there is a rainstorm going through. There's flash flood warnings.
Mm-hmm. I was worried you guys were gonna hear it on the microphone, but luckily you don't. But it's loud. So today we have a couple of topics. We have starting off, we're gonna talk about the Mars Perseverance rover. Now this is pretty cool.
Ooh, it's really cool, man.
NASA recently just launched the Perseverance rover, or they didn't launch it recently. They landed it on Mars, and now the Perseverance rover was originally launched in February.
I was gonna say like 7 months ago.
July. Yeah, it launched in July on July 30th last year, and I remember watching that launch and thinking, "Oh my goodness, this is gonna be."
I think it's gonna be on Mars
in the future. Yeah. And it's finally here. It's finally there. It finally arrived on Mars last week, and we got the first audio clips from Mars.
Yeah. The purpose of the rover is to search for pre-existing or current life on Mars, like water and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Which is really huge.
Yeah.
I really hope they find stuff.
I hope so too. Imagine discovering life like on Mars. That would be one of the biggest discoveries ever.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Perseverance rover ended up landing in the Jezero crater, which actually used to be an ancient river delta. And out of all the places on Mars, that's one of the most likely places to find ancient microbial life or fossils or some sort of, signs of life there. So that's it has all sorts of machines and lasers and cool things that it's going to be drilling for samples.
Speaking about that, like, this is kind of weird, but like, how long, if there was life, how long would you think of, like, how old do you think that life is? Well, you think it's older than us?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know.
Because it could be, it could have been gone for thousands and thousands of years.
That's
and if so, just why? Like, how did it just all die up?
Here, okay, so Mars, I looked it up. Mars had liquid water around 4 to 3.7 billion years ago, and this was when it was covered in water just like Earth. Over time, I think the atmosphere, like the water vapor, got stripped away because Mars doesn't have enough gravity to hold on to a strong atmosphere.
Yeah.
But it did have
There's just floating water?
Yeah, during this point. So it had, like, oceans, just like Earth has oceans now. For about 0.3 billion years, which is 300 million years is quite a long time. So that's very likely that life could have evolved during that certain, or have occurred during that certain amount of time. So I would say roughly 3.8 billion years ago.
I was gonna say, there was no life here billions of years ago, wasn't there?
When did Earth evolve life? I think that was 4 billion years ago. I think the Earth was created 5 billion. When did life appear on Earth? 4.5 billion years ago was the first life.
So there must have been life, if it is true that there was life 4 billion years ago, like with water on, that there was life at the same time.
Yeah.
That's insane.
And so that actually, it's interesting because there's a theory out there that, let's say we find life on Mars, right? Or even on Venus, because I know they detected phosphine like not long ago, and even though it turned out to not be life, it was an interesting discovery on Venus, and we were really discussing, could there be life on Venus? Because
I
phosphine is
think
a sign of
I was
life.
gonna say,
Go ahead.
like, life on Venus sounds impossible with the atmosphere, and the planet is basically a volcano.
I
It's
have
not
to
like
say,
it is just super hot.
I don't think that life on Venus is impossible.
Really?
I think that life on Venus is very possible. I
They would
think,
have to be adapted to the
yeah.
atmosphere, obviously,
But I mean,
but
there's
like,
extremophile bacteria that can on Earth that can survive in space, right?
hmm
So I think that could be interesting. There's the idea of life on Mars right now, like still alive, is very slim. Like the chance of that, because
yeah.
I remember I was seeing something and it was talking about how life can survive in one extreme environment, but not two. So life can survive in extreme cold, as long as it
hmm
has nothing else damaging it, and it can survive in extreme radiation conditions as long as there's enough heat for it to regenerate its body. So I think it could survive on Venus because it has heat that it needs to regenerate its body from all the other things that might occur.
Oh, yeah.
Just a possibility. I don't know, but we're talking about Mars, and I think that life is
Yeah.
very likely to have occurred on Mars
Oh,
at some
yeah,
point.
definitely. I want to look more into the poles, because
Oh, where the ice
Mars
is? Yeah.
has there's ice and snow on Mars,
Yeah.
and if I think life could have been anywhere,
Mm-hmm.
it'd be around or like in the poles.
You don't think it would have been in the crater that they sent the Perseverance rover to?
Mm-mm.
Why not?
I think that like it could be like Earth, where there's no, but the exact opposite, because nobody lives near the poles.
Yeah.
They only go to the poles to, like Arctic people.
Yeah.
And maybe it could have been the complete opposite, or it could be the same, like with life, where people would travel up to the poles.
Yeah. I mean, that's the way I see it. I think life on the poles of Mars is just as rare as life on Earth. Like, I think it's not impossible because there's like penguins and stuff that live in Antarctica,
Yeah.
but it would
I
have to be
don't mean
adapted
like
to the cold.
humans, obviously.
Yeah.
I don't think there was ever human.
Yeah. Yeah. I think if there is life on Mars, it's like bacterial or microbes.
Yeah.
It's not going to be an actual multicellular organism. I think that's very rare.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Alright,
it's an interesting topic, and we can definitely talk more about it in the future. Especially there's a theory out there that life came from all the
Mars.
life that we might find in the solar system. So let's say we do find life on Mars, right? And it's like this is the thing of the century, the discovery of the century. It's a possibility that what happened is actually a rock from Earth, made its way over to Mars. Just
Oh
like
my god, I was
Mars
gonna
rock.
say
Yeah.
that. I was gonna say, imagine they find something and then it's something that came from Earth.
Yeah.
That'd be so disappointing.
Yeah,
Oh
it
my
would be so
gosh.
disappointing. But there's also the theory that we came from Mars in that way.
Oh,
That's
double whammy.
yeah. And there's actually a current theory, a current, or not a theory necessarily, but a current possibility, a current thought that's going around the scientific community, that is that octopus, the whole mollusk family tree, are so different from most animals on Earth that it's very it's possible. It's not very likely. It's very unlikely, but it's just a possibility that octopi, the whole mollusk family, actually came from a space rock.
Ooh.
It's a second evolution of life on Earth, which would be fascinating if it were the case. Now, it's not to say that octopus necessarily, right? But it could be, a new bacteria came from space, and there have been two different trees of life on Earth, not just the original one.
Ooh. We could talk about that forever.
Yeah.
Oh, you want to talk about the next one?
Yeah. So coming back to here for more.
Oh man,
more,
I actually want to talk
Go
about
ahead.
this one.
Yeah.
So there is an animal that became extinct. I want to say like the 30s.
Yep. 1936 is I think when the last one went extinct.
Called the Thylacine.
Mm-hmm.
and it's basically like a coyote kangaroo.
Yeah, it's a marsupial that
Yep.
evolved very similarly. It convergently evolved like a coyote or a wolf.
Yep. And it has been reportedly extinct, but there are people that believe that they're still out there.
Mm-hmm.
And recently, there was a guy in Tasmania,
Yes.
and he said in the video that he got very clear pictures, allegedly got very clear pictures of these animals that looked very much, that he said it looked very much likely like Thylacine. It was a family. It was a mom, a dad, and a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that he couldn't really clearly tell that the mom and dad were Thylacine, but he said that the baby looked almost identical to like a baby Thylacine.
Yeah. So
And
Neil Waters.
yeah.
This is Neil Waters from the Thylacine Awareness Group of Tasmania.
Yep.
And this is in a YouTube video. We'll actually put the link in the description so you guys can find it. This was on February 22nd. He posted this video.
And yep.
And he said that the thylacines, he's found them. The pictures are quite clear, and he thinks that the animal that he found on the trail cameras are thylacines.
He sent it in to scientists,
Yeah.
biologists, and there was a 9-1.
Yep, 7-1.
9-1 vote. 7-1. Bad.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, 7-1 vote saying that it looked like a. No. It didn't look like What was it?
So he sent it to.
It was disappointing.
Yeah. Well, so Neil Waters sent these photos to a couple of other canine and feline researchers, and they were able to tell him that, they said, well, this seems very much like a thylacine, not any other species that we know about, right?
Yeah.
So he sent the photos to Nick Mooney, who is the head researcher at the Tasmanian Museum. I don't remember. Let's see. There's the Museum of Tasmania. He's a wildlife expert there, and this is Nick Mooney. He's like very trusted guy, and he's one of the most well-known or most best people for this job to identify these photos. So if this man is sending these photos to Nick Mooney, he really believes that it's a thylacine. Nick Mooney the next day ended up posting that based on the photos, we don't think that thylacine is a real animal. We think that this is more likely a Tasmanian pademelon.
Yeah. The vote was it wasn't that the scientists thought it was a thylacine, that the vote was 7-1 for it being not
pademelon. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Say that again? You cut out.
Oh, I'm sorry. Not a pademelon.
Yeah, not a pademelon.
But yeah, so a pademelon it's like a small kangaroo or like a small wallaby. It has a very kangaroo-like stance, but it's a smaller herbivore. It's like a kangaroo the size of a rabbit.
Yep.
And they think, or it may be a little bigger than a rabbit, I'd say. But that's what we think this animal is. Let me take a sip of my chocolate milk real quick. Sorry.
Yeah, I had a monster before the episode. 'Cause I've been tired, man.
Yeah.
I've been tired all week.
But yes, so this pademelon is maybe not a fat pademelon, maybe it is a pademelon. We don't know. But that's not quite where the story ends. See, the 7 canine researchers and 7 feline researchers were very, very sure that it was not a pademelon. Nick Mooney thought it was a pademelon. And it's a possibility. This is a conspiracy sort of thing. Who knows if this is true, But it's possible that Nick Mooney did not say that this was a thylacine right away because of the fact that he didn't want people rushing to Tasmania in huge groups, to find this thylacine or to make a TV documentary on it, And he wants to protect it. So if Nick Mooney had gone right away and said, this is 100% a thylacine, there would be people in Tasmania right now that aren't there because he said it wasn't.
Ooh. So I looked it up right now.
Uh-huh.
And the video was posted of it, of the
Actually?
photos. Yeah.
No way.
I'm looking at it right now, and right now, from what I'm looking at the comments, is that,
Here, send me the video really fast.
they're saying that the larger ones were pattamelons.
Here, send me. So, do you see the photos, like the actual photos yourself?
I'm looking at it right now. Here, I will send you.
Okay, so I didn't. The photos weren't supposed to be released until March 1st, and that is the day after we're recording this. But since Australia is ahead of our time, we're actually getting we are literally seeing the photos right now.
The video was posted 15 hours ago.
Here, I found some of the photos, Wayne. I will send these to you as soon as we can. I will send them to you.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna send you the video.
Here. So yeah, the photos don't look very clear. It says the Thylacine Joey photo. I can't tell what that is. It almost looks like a cat.
Yeah, it looks very weird.
I'll send a link to what we're looking at in the description, guys.
Me and Nick were talking about this, how we wish that, it would be a very disappointing, like, if it was a new species, not a thylacine, because it wouldn't be as big. Like, new species are found every day. So.
Yeah.
But, it would be very cool if it was an actual thylacine.
Now, I have to say, I don't think this is actually a thylacine. From what I'm looking at the photos, there's I just watched the video, and one of the photos very much looks like a pattymellon to me, and I do think that this Neil Waters guy was a little bit excited. Now, the story's not over. It could be. I don't know what I'm looking at. I'm not a researcher, but it's very possible that it is a
from the video. Oh man. The rain's actually.
Yeah.
It's picking up. My bad. Yeah, but from the guy in the video, he sounded so confident.
Oh yeah.
In these being, I found them. I found a family. And yeah, man.
Well, like I said, so we're gonna put the video of Neil Waters down in the description, so you guys can all take a listen to it. And actually watch the video for yourself, because this guy's energy is infectious. I don't think, looking at these photos now, and I'll send you a link in the put a link in the description to the photos that we're looking at right now. I don't think that this thylacine in the photos is a thylacine. I think it's more likely a pattymellon, but I don't know what I'm looking at. Nick Mooney has suggested that Neil Waters continue to push and find a way that more evidence that this is a thylacine. He's not saying that to quit the quest, because it could be a thylacine. We don't know for sure. The photos aren't very clear.
You can't stop early.
Yeah.
Can't give up too quickly.
But we're not sure what it is, but it looks interesting, and there's gonna be more research done in the future, so that's gonna be exciting. But I highly suggest you go watch that video by Neil Waters, because it's such a cool thing to see. And then now that the photos have been released and we literally just saw these, it's exciting.
Yeah, man, I love looking up new stuff while we're on the podcast, because it's like everybody gets our first reaction.
Yeah.
Of it. So.
Oh, speaking of new species, I don't know if you know, but Forrest Galante, he's a wildlife biologist, and he explores. He's such an interesting guy. On his Instagram today, he ended up posting, and I was sent this as a link. It's such an interesting post he made, and it's this very strange fish, and I'll put a link to it in the description. But it looks like a combination of a shark and a manta ray. Wayne, I will send you the picture.
I'm actually looking at it right now.
You're looking at this picture right now.
Wow.
So
this is weird.
Yeah, it's like a shark and a manta ray combined. And we'll put the pictures down in the description again, so you guys can see them, because we don't know what this is.
Did they kill it?
No, it's still alive. If you look on the post, on the Instagram post, there's a video at the end.
Fuck is this?
What the fuck is this?
The fuck?
What I'm looking at what I'm looking at the comments is that it looks like a bat ray with.
Yeah.
One of the comments says that it looks like a bat ray with an injury when I was a baby, and the other one says,
Yeah.
"Damn, that looks like a bat ray and a shark had a baby."
Yeah. So I was gonna say I looked up bat ray just because I was curious about what this is, and it looks very similar, but it doesn't have a similar shape at all.
Yeah, man, this looks very odd.
Yeah.
That last video, I'm looking at it right now. He just picked him up from his mouth.
Yeah, he doesn't know what it is, but I'm gonna pick it up.
What
from his mouth.
the
Yeah,
fuck
like,
is
I'm
this?
gonna
strongly
bite your
encourage
fingers
you
off.
to
Oh,
go
dude, that gives.
See this video if you know.
Yeah, man, that is some weird. That is a fish, man.
Yeah.
Oh, it's from California.
Yeah.
So
I'm actually curious. Do bat rays come from California? They're from okay, so they are found in that area. So that would make sense then. That sounds like what it is. But it's still an interesting creature, and that's very strange.
Speaking about creatures, our next topic,
Oh, yes.
Miss Elizabeth Ann, is the first ever cloned black-footed ferret. And it was created from frozen cells of a ferret that died more than 30-something years ago.
Yes. And not only the first cloned black ferret, but one of the first successfully cloned animals.
Yeah, because most animals, when they clone them, like that sheep,
Yeah. Dolly.
died.
Yeah.
Died instantly after it was born.
So we've cloned animals before. We've cloned Dolly the sheep, and I think she died within 6 seconds of being born. So it was
Exactly.
a successful cloning, but it wasn't a healthy birth.
Yep.
And only just now, Elizabeth Ann turned 2 months old, and this is an incredible milestone for the scientific community because this means that we can now successfully clone animals. They think that Elizabeth Ann is reproductive, is fertile, so she will be able to have children when she gets older,
I think that's going to be so cool.
which is incredible. One of the reasons this is so good for conservation is because the black-footed ferrets are an extremely endangered species, one of the most endangered species in all of North America, and the whole ferret family in general, it has a very small gene pool. Black ferrets especially because there's so few of them around.
Yep. It's
Because
isn't
this-
it
Yeah, go ahead.
almost extinct?
Yeah, it's almost extinct.
dangerously endangered.
Yeah, it's extremely endangered, and because the gene pool is so small right now, there's a very high risk of inbreeding, and therefore the population dying because of small genetic imperfections that get carried over multiple generations because there's so few species right now alive, so few animals alive. So this clone will introduce 3 times more unique gene combinations and variations than currently exist in the entire population because Elizabeth Ann's original clone was from 30 years ago. So that highly increases the actual gene pool, and that is incredible because that means we're very likely to be able to save the black-footed ferret from extinction, whereas if this clone hadn't been successful, we'd be far less certain about the black-footed ferret.
This plays a role in, if we can do this with this animal, why don't we do it with another animal?
Yeah.
And if we get it to work, then that could be we could start cloning. This is a far stretch, but we could start cloning humans and past. If we have frozen or if we have collected cells from extinct animals, we can bring those back, like the white rhino.
So for an example, real quick, the way cloning works is what we do is we have animals have sperm and eggs, and they inside the gametes there's the cell, and then inside the cell there's a nucleus which contains all of the genetic info of that creature. So your mom has genetic info and your dad has genetic info, and then what happens is when the gametes connect and actually become a new creature, genes get swapped and genes get mixed, and sometimes genes mess up a little bit, and then that's when there's new variations in the genetic code and things like that, and that's what causes evolution over time. But what happens is that you get roughly 50% of your genes from your mom and roughly 50% of your genes from your dad.
Oh yeah, we were talking about this, man.
Yeah. But
how you take 50% of your mom and 50% of your dad.
Yeah. So what the way cloning works is it's we're taking your and so real quick, your dad's genes are an exact replica or an exact copy of your dad, and your mom's genes are an exact replica, an exact copy of your mom, unless something went wrong on a very small occasion, and that does happen, and that's one of the reasons evolution happens, is because these small changes over time can result in slightly new and different creatures and variations in the gene pool. But what happens is that the when we clone things, we take out one parent's side of the equation. What we do is
it's just 100%.
Yeah. So what we'll do is we'll take an egg cell from a creature and we'll take out the nucleus, which contains the mitochondria and all the chromosomes, and we're taking out the nucleus of that cell, of that egg, and we're inserting into that egg the nucleus of the dad. Now we have an egg cell with a nucleus that is one creature, an exact replica of the dad. And that is interesting. We can take this egg cell now and we can put this egg cell in a surrogate mother, and then that surrogate mother will give birth to an exact copy, an exact replica of the original creature.
Yeah, man, that's... So you're basically just removing one side and just making it 100% of one side. So this obviously would, with Elizabeth, she is 100% of her mom's DNA.
Yes.
Which I'm thinking of.
I think so.
So she is a carbon copy of her mom.
Yes, she's an exact replica of the ferret that existed 30 years ago.
Yep.
Her surrogate mother now gave birth to her, but they're not genetically related.
Ooh.
Because we insert the new egg and the new zygote into the surrogate mother, and then the surrogate mother gets pregnant and has the child. So we've been able to do this in the embryo form for quite a while, and recently they started trying a while ago they started trying with Dolly the sheep, and it didn't work out 100%, and now Elizabeth Ann is the first one that has actually lived healthily, and this is exciting news.
What a nice name, Elizabeth Ann.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think this is the beginning.
Yeah.
What I think is going to be, everything's going to be start getting cloned soon.
So I wanted to ask you, Wayne, what do you think about the ethics of cloning? Do you think that, cloning is acceptable, cloning is allowed, cloning is good?
I think it can be taken to an extent. I mean, there's obviously ideas like cloning. When people think about cloning, they don't think about, like with Elizabeth Ann. They think about cloning meaning like building an army of this one thing.
Like the stormtrooper from Star Wars or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Clone Wars. The Clone Wars. But I think to an extent, like, obviously that's not okay, because that's bad. But cloning, like with Elizabeth Ann, like restoring dead or extinct species, like extinct or almost extinct species, it's good.
Okay.
I 100% agree with it. And like I said, it can be taken to an extent.
And I want to elaborate on that real quick. So, as an example to this, actually, it's a possibility that if we can ever get thylacine DNA, and these photos are, turn out to there is no thylacine still alive today, what's possible is that we could actually take thylacine DNA if we ever get hold of somehow.
Yep.
And
we have to find those animals.
It's highly likely, considering the fact that they only went extinct in the 1930s and
85 years ago.
Yeah, and the DNA can last, a million years. They recently found a mammoth. Like this is actually technically some more news that happened this week. We just weren't going to cover it. They found the oldest DNA that has ever been found. Some mammoth DNA that lasted a million years. Previously, the only DNA we've ever found have been about 5,000 to 7,000 years old, 700,000 to 500,000 years old. But this million-year-old mammoth DNA is an insane discovery, and now we can actually know more about mammoths from it.
I was gonna say, man, if we have enough, hopefully we have enough. Maybe we can. No, that wouldn't be possible, wouldn't it be? Because you'd have to have a person to birth it, right?
Well, hold on. This is what I was actually going to talk about. We can talk about the mammoths afterwards. So let's say that we have a way of obtaining a thylacine DNA, and we can, that we know the entire genome and things like this. Later, at some point, we can use things like CRISPR, which is gene editing software, where we can literally go in and change genes. And this is a working, and they're currently testing this. Things like CRISPR and different things like that. We can actually change the genomes of certain creatures. And right now, they're using the studies to get rid of things like Down syndrome which is a good thing, but it has implications. We can get into that in a future episode. But we could actually take this thylacine DNA, if we can map the genome and we can figure it out, and we can insert it in some of their relatives, the Tasmanian devils. We can make a clone and just use the surrogate mother as the Tasmanian devil, with giving birth to a thylacine.
Ooh, so basically what you're saying is we could use a animal that is closely
related, yes.
To birth this animal. So
going back to mammoths, it'd be very possible if we can ever obtain mammoth DNA and we can get the genome and we can use CRISPR to change it enough if we need to.
I was gonna say what would be a relative to mammoths?
As long as we can keep the elephant.
That's my first idea. I was like, maybe if we use an elephant.
And the interesting thing is that it would actually be the Asian elephant, not the African elephant, because Asian elephants are more closely related to mammoths than African elephants are.
Yeah, African elephants are the right term.
Yeah. It's fascinating. But yeah, so that I think using cloning and I think you do too, is using these for these scientific studies is perfect, is perfectly acceptable.
It's not too bad. It's not, it's not tampering with, obviously it's tampering, but it isn't tampering in a bad way.
Yeah, it's tampering for good.
It is for the better good.
Yes.
Now, I think if people get too far ahead, let's clone dinosaurs.
Yeah.
I don't think that would be good.
You don't think cloning dinosaurs is a good idea? Let's say we could.
Have you seen Jurassic Park? You see what happens?
Okay. I want to ask you this. In a world without, big cats, right?
Yeah.
We don't have lions, we don't have tigers, we don't have anything like this, right? Someone makes a movie where people take, your pretty little house cats and they make them really big and really vicious, right? And then they make a whole amusement park out of all these different species of big cats that they made, To people who have not seen big cats and they've only seen things like dogs and wolves and bears and stuff, right? A tiger would be, what a freaky animal, right? It's like, that thing is so scary. They'd probably make a movie about where these big cats escape, and then, it makes a good movie. I have to ask you, dinosaurs, do you really think they're that different from things like lions and tigers and bears?
Yes, because these things are like stories, 3 stories, 4 stories. I mean, these things are huge.
The T-Rex is 40 feet long. That's not that big.
That's so huge. Have you seen an animal that is? Okay, it's like a walking. It's like a walking whale. Almost. Okay, I mean, that was a bad comparison. But meaning like the size of a whale.
Okay, so think about an elephant. That's a huge animal.
Yeah.
And people have kept them for centuries. Like they were, used in the East hundreds and thousands of years ago.
Oh, that's a thing. Would you think you'd be able to tame dinosaurs?
Oh, absolutely.
I don't know, man. I just have a bad feeling about dinosaurs. I
I think that
deeply afraid of bringing them back.
I think that bad feeling has been instilled in you from things like Jurassic Park.
Mm. But do you think about these animals were before humans. Well, some of them, most of them, almost all of them.
Yeah.
Were before humans, and you know how they live. They live by prey, predator.
Yeah.
And so, would you think that any of these dinosaurs? Because have you ever heard about an elephant eating people?
That's true.
Would you think that these carnivores
Okay.
would have a taste for humans?
Tigers have a
They
taste
would-
for humans.
Okay, well, tigers aren't 40 feet long.
Okay. Tigers are pretty big.
They're not that
Okay,
big.
fine. What about bears? Bears can get huge.
Okay, yeah, bears. But bears they're hide. They like to hide. I don't think 40 feet dinosaurs would be able to hide.
Okay. I have to say, I think if we were able to get 40-foot T-Rex again,
Yeah.
I don't think it would be as big of a deal as Jurassic Park makes it seem.
Oh yeah, because also Jurassic Park has mutant
Yeah.
dinosaurs. It's carried on its own storyline. I don't
Yeah.
think we could ever make mutant dinosaurs, but still,
So real quick,
I
think about the Velociraptor.
yeah, that would be pretty cool. It'd basically just be like a big hawk.
Yeah, because these things were tiny. Like the Jurassic Park movies made them seem so big, but in real life they were what, 3 feet long? They're like big chickens.
Yeah.
But they'd be cool.
I mean, I think those dinosaurs wouldn't be a problem.
Yeah.
But like these big dinosaurs,
Yeah.
like aren't rhinoceros aren't they herbivores?
Herbivores, yes, they are.
I was thinking of
So what about the
Stegosaurus.
big sauropods, the ones with the big long necks and the big long tails, and they're huge, some of the biggest terrestrial animals to ever live.
well, if they're herbivores, I don't think that's a. No, I see. Okay, I would be totally okay if we had a 40 herbivore, not a carnivore.
What about a 120-foot herbivore?
That'd be pretty cool.
You think that'd be cool?
We'd have to give it its own park, like
Yeah.
a whole park, because 120 feet isn't.
Yeah.
You got to
That's-
give that thing a bunch of land.
That's a problem. How do you feed these 40-foot carnivores? What do you feed
You
them?
plant trees.
The
You
carnivores.
give them the carnivores.
Yeah. What would you feed them?
Oh man, that. That's another thing. You know how hard it'd be to maintain these things
Yeah.
with how much their diet. Like we don't know how much their diet. Well, we know, but like
We
to
can
the
make
exact.
estimates based on our current today animals, and most of those estimates are a ton of food.
Yeah. So do you? First of all, it would cost so much money to maintain these.
Yeah. Now,
costs
with
so much
with a
money.
park like that, you could easily make that much money.
Yeah.
I think a park like that would start with small animals, small dinosaurs like velociraptors and those small, whatever they're like, those small sort of ones that are like triceratops. I don't know what they're called. But the ones like triceratops, I don't know what they're called, but those, the whatever. I think they would start with the smaller dinosaurs and they'd work their way up to getting bigger and bigger ones as they learn to handle the bigger and bigger ones. And the things like T-Rex and the things like Spinosaurus and the things like Diplodocus would be one of the last ones they make.
Oh, I have a thing that I was gonna say.
Uh-huh.
When we were talking about cloning small dinosaurs, didn't you say Velociraptor or Pterodactyl? Because you know how Okay, my bad. That was a mistake on me. I got pterodactyls and velociraptors mixed up because I said a velociraptor is like a hawk.
Yeah.
What I meant by is a pterodactyl.
That's true.
Those
Yeah, okay.
things like a bigger hawk.
Yeah.
Because
some
velociraptors are
pterodactyls
like.
are freaking scary, bro.
Yeah. I think velociraptors are like lizards, but on
Yeah.
2 legs.
No, velociraptors actually had feathers. They were like turkeys.
They were like birds. Oh yeah. Yeah.
They had 2 legs, you know.
They were meat-eating turkeys.
Yeah, basically. I mean, birds are dinosaurs.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Something
but
I
I
learned
think-
recently. Did you know that T-Rex was alive when birds were alive?
I mean, I don't think that'd be impossible. I think that'd be, yeah.
Yeah,
I
they were
that
there were both toothed birds
doesn't
and
seem
beaked birds when
too
T-Rex was
impossible.
alive. I learned that, and it was fascinating to me. And same with Velociraptor. It lived at the same time as all these birds and the T-Rex.
Well, that proves that if you're in the air, you won't die off.
Yeah.
It seems like more ground animals go extinct before air.
Yeah. Well, what happened is when the asteroid hit the dinosaurs, all the big animals died. So things like the big pterosaurs, like Quetzalcoatlus, who was freaking scary. If those were alive today, I would love to. Out of all the flying animals, Quetzalcoatlus is one of my favorite.
Oh! You know what a modern day looking dinosaur that scares me the most?
What?
Komodo dragons.
Oh,
those things look. They're, to me, one of the closest thing to dinosaurs that we can get to today, because those things are scary.
Those are
They're like crocodile and alligator sized lizards.
Yeah.
And that's so scary to me that they are walking on this earth.
They can when they bite you, it like slowly paralyzes you, and then they chase you down as you slowly become more and more paralyzed.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm afraid of those guys.
Yeah.
Those things scare me, man.
Plus, they're an apex predator. They will eat humans.
Yep. What about water animals like piranhas?
Do you think piranhas?
Those things look weird.
They're
like fish dinosaurs.
Yeah.
They're fugly. They're ugly.
I have to say the mosasaurs are really interesting creatures. Same with the plesiosaurs. These are all fascinating creatures that are gone now. Maybe with CRISPR at some point we'll be able to, with gene editing, we'll be able to get them back. That would be a fascinating world.
Oh man, having those I agree with what you were saying, how we would clone small dinosaurs first.
Yeah.
And see how it works. I'd be okay with that idea.
Yeah.
But once it gets to like T-Rexes and stuff, man, I don't.
You don't know?
Yeah, I don't feel like it would be a good idea.
Fair enough. I think the people would work their way up, and then it'd be safe by the time they do that. I mean, like I said, in a world without tigers, you know, telling someone, you know, about a world where we keep huge, ferocious cats locked up in cages, and, you know, cats bigger than a person, or as big as a person, would just freak them out. They're like, what happens if these creatures get out? And that happens. There's escaped lions.
Yeah. Oh, you know an animal that really fascinates me?
What?
These, like, have you ever heard of those, like, combination of animals like a wolfen? Or like a tigon?
Yeah. Where they breed them? Yeah.
Yeah. I think one of the most fascinating animals are ligers.
Ligers, yeah.
Ligers, oh my gosh, they look so cool.
They do.
I just love how they look like tigers.
Yep.
But they got the size of lions.
The sad thing is that it's like they usually have a lot of like diseases and stuff, don't they?
Yeah, because of the breeding process is all messed up. Now see, I don't like the idea. I think they look cool, but I don't like the idea of, you know, crossbreeding.
I think they're fascinating animals too.
Yeah, but I just don't like the whole process of it.
Because it's usually it's not very good for the lions and the tigers that they do that too.
That reminded me of the spoof video we were watching whenever we were planning the podcast of the The chicken and the sperms of the
That's right.
sperm.
We were
Oh
watching
my
a we were
god.
watching a video when we were preparing for the podcast this week of a
I showed him a
guy.
video.
Yeah, we'll link it down in the description. This is not real, but there's a
Alchemy. Dude,
yes.
I used to think all of these videos were real. And it's so funny watching these videos back because I used to watch these videos a while ago.
Mhm.
I was like, oh my god, this can really happen. And then I looked into it and I was like, oh man,
Yeah.
it can't happen. It disappointed me.
So in the video we were watching, there was a guy who made a cross between a
Wasn't
chicken
that a Russian guy?
Nah, I think so, yeah. And he made
One of the
this,
videos
like,
he screamed
homunculus
out
creature,
Russian.
and then he said it spat poison at him, and he like smacked it with the Bible or whatever. It was
Dude, that was so funny.
yeah,
He just screamed blat and
bleh, yeah.
screamed because apparently it was spitting out poison at him.
We'll link the video in the description so you guys can all go watch it.
Then there's another one that looked like it. He said that it had a tongue that smells things.
Oh yeah,
It's so dumb.
completely crazy people, but
yeah, I think that whole side of YouTube is very weird.
yep.
And that also relates crossbreeding, because there's some types of crossbreedings that will work, but human sperm and chicken do
Doesn't
not
work.
go,
Yeah.
because they don't have the same amount of chromosomes.
Yep.
Because humans have 46 and chickens have like isn't it 36 or 34?
Yeah, it's a very different number though, so it just wouldn't work.
So it wouldn't work. But lions and tigers, they're both big cats. They have similar and
Very similar genes, yeah.
Yeah, but not exactly. So when you got to be prepared. If you breed these things, they're gonna have diseases, and they're not gonna be perfect. Unless you're really lucky.
Did you know there's something really interesting? A study they did not long ago that was talking about the Neanderthal human breeding. And one thing they actually discovered is that humans have Neanderthal DNA in our genome, but Neanderthals, when they map the Neanderthal genome, have very little human DNA in their genome, like almost none. Whereas we have Neanderthals in ours. So there was a theory that was postulated, why this was the case. And you'd think that, if Neanderthals and humans were really interbreeding a lot, there would be just as much in DNA in each of their genomes. But there's zero human DNA in the Neanderthals. So the scientists postulated a theory that what was happening is that the female Homo sapiens were going and sleeping with the Neanderthal men and then going back to their tribe and raising the child among the Homo sapiens. So then there was a Neanderthal Homo sapien child growing up with the humans.
Oof. Yeah, man, that stuff is just very interesting. Yeah. That makes me think of just, how, man, I can't get words out of my mouth, man.
It's okay. Take your time.
Like, I gotta think about what I'm gonna say. Nah, never mind. I can't get it out of my head. I don't.
That's alright, that's
my bad.
Alright. But yeah, so I wanted to ask you real quick one more time about, what do you think about cloning? We're going back to the original idea. So we think that cloning for scientific purposes is okay, and potentially with dinosaurs at some point it might be okay.
Recreational is not okay.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you about this. Let's say SeaWorld gets their hands on cloning things, right? Or not SeaWorld, like, we're not going after SeaWorld because we're going to say that they would do this, but we're just saying, and some amusement park similar to SeaWorld, and we're just going to use SeaWorld as an example in our thing, or in our hypothetical scenario, right? So let's say SeaWorld gains the ability to clone their animals, and they have a very well-performing killer whale that has doubled their profits, or doubled their profits in the sea section.
Cash cow.
So let's say that they decide that this killer whale is getting old, and they want to keep this killer whale as because its ability to do tricks is phenomenal, something they've never seen in any other killer whale. So they decide to clone it. And they make 3 new killer whales that they can teach just the same. That are all exact replicas of the original killer whale.
Yeah.
Do you think that's ethical?
No. I think you are abusing science to make a profit.
Yeah.
That's so unethical.
So do you think Elon Musk is abusing science to make a profit when he uses science to launch the starships?
No, because he's doing it for science. I don't think he's doing it for the money. Obviously,
Yeah.
he wouldn't be doing this. He owns Tesla. He
doesn't need the money.
He invented PayPal, didn't he?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't need the money.
Yeah, he's the richest guy in the world.
Yeah, you wouldn't, like, that's... I feel like he's doing that for, science. I don't think he's doing that for the money.
Yeah. So you think that's okay?
But with SeaWorld, SeaWorld isn't the biggest thing in the world. They obviously need money.
Yeah.
Especially with COVID, because, people can't really come to the parks.
Of course.
And I think that's just wrong. I feel like that shouldn't be allowed, because you are abusing these animals to make a profit. Which, I mean, everybody abuses animals to make a profit, but this is just
it's on the next
wrong.
level.
It's on it's the next level of abuse. You're ruining the circle of life. Yeah, is what it's doing it.
And especially because places like SeaWorld don't necessarily always treat their animals great. Like
they treat their animals poorly.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying SeaWorld in particular, but a lot of these places have their killer whales and their orcas. Same animal.
No, it makes me really sad.
What?
That involves these. I've heard about dolphins and that they can be diagnosed with depression. That just makes me really sad. And the dolphin that killed itself.
Yeah. Dolphins are so smart.
Yeah, man. But getting off of that topic just makes me sad.
Yeah.
But
I was gonna say, this might make you a little bit sad, but the orcas at some of these places end up, they have a lot of health issues because they're lonely. They were separated from their pod and stuff like that. So if they're not treating their animals well in the first place, so poorly that these orcas are grinding down their teeth on the cement because they're bored, they have nothing else to do.
Yeah.
Then I don't think it's fair that they should be able to clone more animals to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, because if you don't want to, it's just.
On a more happy note, dolphins are really smart animals, though.
Yep.
There was this is just something kind of funny that I actually learned about, is that dolphins, now I don't know if this has been verified or fact checked, but I saw this somewhere. We can fact check it afterwards, and I'll put it in the description of whether this is correct or incorrect. But dolphins apparently are immune to pufferfish poison, and instead it makes them high. So what dolphins will
dolphins just can get high.
Yeah. So dolphins will purposely go around inflating the pufferfish.
Oh my god!
And getting the poison into their bloodstream so they can feel high.
They're druggies.
Yeah.
Dolphins, man.
Dolphins are extremely smart too.
What a breed.
I think they're the second animal to human in the world with out of brain comparison size to the rest of their body.
I think monkeys are cool.
Oh, monkeys!
I love monkeys. Also, I don't know if that's been proven. Speaking about humans, don't we share 90% of our DNA with bananas?
With chimpanzees, we share 70% with bananas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that's so weird that we were, that close to being bananas and monkeys.
Yeah, but when you say, but the fact that we share 70% of our DNA with bananas makes the fact that we share 99.8% with chimpanzees a little bit less exciting.
Yeah.
But it's still crazy, the fact that we share 99.8% of our DNA with chimpanzees.
And that's because we derived from them.
Yep.
We evolved from them. To end off the podcast.
Oh, yep. Oh my gosh,
because
it's been an hour.
we were running pretty long. But what I wanted to ask a question. I think we should do this every podcast.
Okay.
At the end, what are you most excited for in the next month?
In the next month,
Out of the whole month,
okay.
what are you most excited for?
How about we do from now to the next podcast?
Sure.
I mean, we could do from now to the month, but it's gonna. I feel like it's gonna be the same answer next podcast. No.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Okay.
So yeah, but I like that idea. That's a good question. We'll talk about that then in the next podcast.
Yeah.
I think I'm excited about the possibility of Starship SN10 launching very soon. I'm excited about that. SpaceX has been, launching all their starships, and it's a chance that it'll launch in the next 2 weeks, and that's exciting to me. I love watching the rockets go.
So about me,
yeah.
I don't know if this podcast knows, but I'm a very big sports guy.
Okay.
And last year we had no March Madness. We had little to none March Madness, which March Madness is like the playoffs. It's like a college basketball tournament.
Yeah.
And you get all the best teams, and my favorite part about it is when the worst team upsets the best team. Like I think it was UNBC. I don't remember. It was some no-name college. It's out of I want to say like 32 to 16 teams.
Okay.
And they just pull off these upsets where the lowest seed team beats the highest seed team in the first round.
Yeah.
But yeah, March Madness is supposed to be starting, obviously because basically in about 30 minutes it'll be March.
Oh yeah.
It should be starting pretty soon, which hopefully it is in the first week or first 2 weeks. And I'm just ready for that because I missed it last year.
Yeah. All right, dude. That's going to be exciting.
All right, man.
Well, it's been great having you on, Wayne. Thanks for listening, everybody. If you enjoyed the podcast, go feel free to go, if you're watching it on YouTube, to go to Spotify and listen to it again there. And if you're watching it on Spotify, go ahead and listen to it a second time here on YouTube. You can check all the links in the description of the YouTube video, and that's where, the best place to watch it. We'll get webcams, too, at some point, so you'll be able to see all our beautiful faces when we record the first best podcast in the universe. And then, with that, thanks for coming on, Wayne. It's been a pleasure having you.
It's been great, man.
Don't forget to share it with your friends, because that's the best way that we
share.
Spread our good word amongst others, and we'll see you guys all in the next episode.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Cool. I'm going to end OBS.